What's up, guys? Paul Mello here. 1950 Chevrolet Deluxe seat, part 5. We left off yesterday putting the burger on there. I already made the pattern, but I'm going to give you a quick idea on how to do it. So kind of like when you look at the seat, you got to kind of figure out what your concept is. If you're doing one thing, it doesn't matter. You just make the pattern and pull it over the whole seat. But we're doing a little bit of pleating in the middle, center section, and ends. So walk over here and take a quick peek at it so you can kind of see. So we got the middle section, the pleats, the end section, the front, around, and then the back side. So when you're doing something like this, when you got to remember to, when you make the pattern, you got to make it bigger. So 3/4 of an inch on the inside, that's going to be your seam that you're going to sew to on both sides, 3/4 of an inch. So you kind of got to measure the seat, figure out how wide you want the sides, the middle, pleat section, then the middle section, this section, that section. Same thing. So what I did is I started in the middle. I took this here. This is 17 inches. So I want to do 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just kind of going to rough it out so you get a quick idea how to do it. 3/4 of an inch is going to be your inside. That's going to be the seam you sew on. Same thing on the other side, 3/4 of an inch. All right, seam, 3/4. So that's going to be however wide you decide to make it. So if you got a real long seat and this is how wide my center is going to be, again, the center on this one, I made 7.5 inches with a 3/4 seam on either side. And that's how you do it. So this would be my center section if I'm doing wide sections. And what you got to remember is on the corners, you got to have a circle. So I just take a little disc, grinding disc. I put this in the corner, put it down, put my circle, put it in a corner, make my circle. Hey, and you got to remember on the front also, 3/4 of an inch is going to be your seam. So, and then that would be the same on the back side. So we come back here, 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to half circle. And you use anything you got around. You could use construction paper. It's just got to be thin enough for you to move it around. There's my circle. So this would be my centerpiece. That would be my, and you got to make sure when you cut this, it's going to be 3/4 of an inch here, around 3/4 of an inch here, because you're going to sew on this line, come around the corner so it's round, and then go up. So that would be your centerpiece. Depending on what you're doing, if it's going to be the small center, then that would be your centerpiece. So it would look like this. So then the next piece you do is, this is my pleated section, same thing, 3/4 of an inch here. Boom, 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 boom. Right down the line. That's my seam around the back. That's my seam around the outside. That's my seam in the front. That's my seam I'm going to sew to. So when I put this in the center, let's say that's the center, this is going to go on top of that, which would be in the back. You're not going to see that. So then these two pieces would be together, overlapped like that, and this would be in the back. And that's kind of how you make your pattern. Same thing when we come to the sides. You put the 3/4 seam, you bring it up, And you leave enough hanging down so it's going to go around the back side. And then when you come to the sides, so this would be what's left. This would be your side piece. Same thing, 3/4 of an inch seam here, 3/4 of an inch seam here. And you take the paper, you lay it down. If your foam is still pretty decent, you can come right around this and get the shape. And then that would be your bottom pattern, your top pattern for the side. And then you add 3/4 of an inch seam. Same thing on the side. You take your paper, you lay it on the seat. Hey, you come inside with the pen, draw down, make your line. Because when you have it on the side, come over here. Hey, and you map it out. So you got to sew it. This has got to follow the seat pattern. So when you sew it, this is going to lay flat. If you made this straight, when you sewed it, you're going to have wrinkles here that you can't get out. And again, they got to be long enough because this is going to pull underneath and wrap around the seat. So this just gives you an idea of how to make the pattern. So the next video I'm going to do is going to be showing you, I'm going to map it out on some junk material, show you how to draw the pattern, and then you can stitch it together. Hey, and the other thing I'm going to show you too is when we pull this around, you're going to just fit it on, and we're going to add foam to make it look how you want it. Some people don't like it real thick, some people like it real puffy. Just depends on what you like. So stay tuned to the next video. We'll show you how to map it out on the material. Like and subscribe.